Well, I want to take you back to the year 2000. The date was the 12th of February. The venue was Moonee Valley, and the winner of the Inter Dominion on that particular occasion, producing a Kiwi-like finish reminiscent of his win in the Melbourne Cup, was Shaker Maker. I caught up with his trainer-driver, John Justice. Well, John, it's been a year or two, but good to catch up with you once again.
Yeah, thanks, Mick. Yeah, it's a pleasure to be back here and with a nice horse again.
Talk about nice horses, Shaker Maker. What a brilliant performance he was. And no doubt that Inter Dominion win, John, you could relive it as if it was happening right now.
Yeah, it was marvellous. There were great times with Shaker. He was certainly a very special horse.
You dropped back to last. Was that by design or you just played the cards you were dealt with?
Well, he drew a bit wide, and I sort of thought that he probably could have been very competitive from anywhere, but to be in the final was going to be a bit of pace on, and he's got a good foot of turn of speed, and fortunately he was able to get a good card into it, and it come off the speed, and Shaker could put a race to bed pretty quick when he pulled him wide.
Well, that was exactly the case, John. Within 3 or 4 fluent bounds, he joined them, went to the lead, and drew clear.
Yeah, that was him. He was sensationally fast for those 5 metres, and definitely was a very hard horse to keep up with. Where his opposition, most of them couldn't.
That series was a very unusual one, John, because we had the heats run in between, with races in between, like the Hunter Cup and the Victoria Cup, and finished second in the Victoria Cup behind Breeny's Fella. Then reversed that result when it counted in the Inter Dominion.
Yeah, definitely. It would have been nice to have gone through undefeated, which he probably a bit unlucky. Craig did get a terrific run onto my back at about the 500. The horse followed me, pulled wide, and let Craig through, and he was able to beat me in the Victoria Cup. I remember Shaker got stuck outside of Christian Cullen, which was a pretty big effort, but Christian Cullen was towards the end of his career. But it was a great race too.
He contested a number of Inter Dominions in 2001, won 2 heats, then 6 to Eulstar at Albion Park, and then in 2002 won all 3 heats, then beaten 2 metres and being a runner-up to Smooth Satin.
Yeah, I think Shaker was one of those horses that he probably a bit unlucky. He could have quite easily won 3 Inter Dominions in a row, but unfortunately he only won. Well, fortunately he won the one. He won the main one, the one that counted. It was $1 million race, and it was my home race, so it was a great one. I was a bit unlucky in Sydney. He just he drew the good marble. He let up, and he looked the winner for a while there, but he just got hammered a little bit in the middle and just changed the complexion of the race slightly, and it just meant he was a sitting shot for a very good horse in Smooth Satin.
John, he had a remarkable start to his career. His opening 37 starts, 128, runner-up on 8 occasions, placed third once. His first time out of the placings was in the Miracle Mile.
I remember the race vividly too, the Miracle Mile he was in. He was coming with a run coming off the back, and he just got pushed wide a bit abruptly, and actually was lucky to not take a pretty serious injury out of that race, because he cut his shin and tendon boot in half. So he was lucky, but yeah, no, it was a good race.
Yeah. When did you know that you had a horse of his potential in your stable?
I guess I sort of look. It's hard because you can't label them too soon. I mean, I've had lots of horses that have looked just as good or better at certain stages, but they don't. I guess when he was 3, I started to realise, after he had those 7 runs at 2-year-old and he was coming back, I was sort of starting to think he's pretty good. I remember winning the Group 1 race in Adelaide with Safe and Sound, and I said to somebody, I think I got one home better.
Well, that Miracle Mile we were mentioning was the 2000 Miracle Mile when Holmes DG and that again went to the line, virtually locked together, the margin going in favour of Holmes DG. That was a great race.
Oh yeah, it was. It was a fantastic race. Yeah, 2 great horsemen. Unfortunately, one of them's not with us anymore, which is a sad loss to all of us.
John, you also had Safe and Sound at the same time you had Shaker Maker. 84 starts, 33 wins, 22 times runner-up, 8 placing Shaker Maker, 81 starts for 46 wins, 18 placings, second and 4 times third, 2.2 million. There was a big difference in their prize money. Safe and Sound, $995,000, but they were running virtually parallel. It must have been a difficult job on your part with 2 such quality performers.
Well, you take it back. I think when Shaker won the Inter Dominion, Carol, one of the part owners of Safe and Sound, said to me at the time, said, Jesus, you probably never drive Safe and Sound in a big race again. And I did make a promise to her at the time that if he drew better, I thought he drew better than Shaker, I'd drive him. And I did. Shaker Maker won the Victoria Cup and I got beat a short half out on Safe and Sound.
He won the Inter-Dominion Consolation in 2001 at Albion Park.
Yeah, no, he was a very honest horse, and he probably lacked probably 5 metres in top high speed, but he was a very strong horse, Safe and Sound. So the difference was that he could probably just outstay Shaker on the odd occasion, which he did in the Hunter Cup. When he won the Hunter Cup, he beat Shaker ahead.
And once again, he had a brilliant start to his career. His first 19 starts, 10 wins and 9 placings.
Yeah, well, it's funny. The late Gavin Lang, I trialled Safe and Sound at Bacchus Marshall's, the 2-year-old stand. We pulled up after the race and Gavin came alongside. I said, Gavin, I think this is the horse I've been waiting for, Safe and Sound. And I'll never forget saying that. And he turned out he was a very good horse. But the next year, I loved Shaker Maker. So, how lucky could you be?
It all started, John, with a horse you had a wonderful feeling for, Tip Top Prince.
Yeah, I love Tippy, and it's a pity that he was injury prone, because I still think he was probably the fastest horse I've driven, and it was just a monster. When I remember watching, I didn't have him as a 3-year-old, and I watched him. Kevin, I can't think of the guy. A guy in Adelaide had him, and Malcolm Shaw owned him, and he just won a race at Globe Derby, sitting outside of him for the last 1,200 metres and just powered away from him. And I said at the time to Malcolm, I knew Malcolm pretty well. I said, he's a champion, that horse. Look after him. And and he was. I was fortunate enough to get hold of him a bit later in his career. Did have a few issues when I got him. We had to sort out, but we did see the best of him a few times. Unfortunately, when he won the Legends Mile at Moonee Valley, he won it with a stress fracture of the pastern, and he was never quite as fast after that.
He went into your care after 17 starts, and all up he had 61 starts, so very lightly raced, 28 wins and 13 placings. And at one period, you won 10 straight with him.
Yeah, he was marvellous. And I think he won 10 in a row and then did a check ligament. So we had to put him out, get the check ligament cut and put him out for 8 weeks and then bring him back. And I think then he won a few in a row again before he got the other injury.
He also had a wonderful association with the trotters, in particular Lennon and High Riser.
Yeah, 2 great trotters. Lennon was really, really fast trotter, good out of the gate, and run second in the Inter-Dominion to Night Allowance over in New Zealand. Probably a bit unlucky he didn't win, but had every chance. But to run second in the Inter-Dominion is no mean feat. And High Riser was a good horse. A good friend of mine, Leo Newbound, is not with us anymore. He bred him and owned him, and we had a lot of fun with him. He won the Tatler as a 2-year-old when I think it was his first run for me, when Leo gave him to me when I moved over to Victoria at the time. And then we won, I don't know if he won 2 or 3 heats. He definitely won a heat in the Inter-Dominion. I'm not sure how many, but yeah.
Well, you had Shaker Maker, who was just sensational with that scintillating burst of speed he had. Then you had the chance to drive a horse that was renowned for his guts, his courage, his will to win, his giant heart. Smoking up, you took out the 2012 Len Smith Mile here at Menangle.
Yeah, he was a lovely horse. I love that horse. He really gutsed it out. I remember that race, the Len Smith Mile. When we hit the line, there was one coming at him, got pretty close, and the driver outside of me was celebrating. I just turned to him. I said, I think you might have gone a bit early. Yeah, we were able to kick back, and I'm really disappointed that we didn't have much luck in the Inter-Dominion final Western Australia, because he went through undefeated, and like I said, he just didn't feel fast, but he could always find the lead easy, and he just kept changing gears. He was a marvellous horse. Lance was very lucky to get him and Sogiola, because they were 2 marvellous horses as well.
The number of times Smoking Up looked beaten, lifted himself off the canvas to win, was just remarkable.
I remember watching that race in Adelaide when he looked gone for all money, and it was the Adelaide Cup over there when it was still worth a fair bit of money, and looked gone for all money and come back and won by a metre or something. So yeah, no, he was remarkable.
John, you've had a remarkable career, and you've also got a very unique record by the fact that you've driven a Group 1 winner in every state of Australia.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that you don't actually think about, but yeah, no, I'm very pleased to hear that. I mean, it's a big thrill. I mean, I tell you, I loved Harold Park. My first drive on Harold Park was back in the 80s, and I won. So when Harold Park was closing, I made an effort to bring some horses up, and I won a double on it last night at Harold Park. So one of my favourite tracks, Harold Park. I thought it was fantastic.
It's been a remarkable story, the Justice story. We know it began with your father Dudley, your mum Josie, and the wonderful careers they had. In particular, your mum Josie, and we spoke about her in detail with Eva. The tradition of the Justice family continues these days, and very successfully with your daughter Eva finishing third in the Young Drivers Australasian Championship. She is a talent, and I think the Justice reputation is only going to continue to grow.
Yeah, she's a good kid, and she works hard at it, and she's probably using this week as a bit of a holiday and getting to know a few of the drivers around the place, and they've all done a good job. They all handled it really well, and I'm proud of her, and I think running third was no mean feat. And some of those drives, she on 100 to 1 pop here, nearly won a race here. I was just sitting there in the TAB and I just marvelled. I thought, how did she do that?
Well, I said to her after the race, I said, knowing that horse as I do, I said, for you to get that horse to finish third, you deserve double points.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think it ran second actually. Yeah, they're right. She could have got double for that.
Well, John, it's been wonderful to catch up with you once again, and in particular do a bit of reminiscing about the Inter Dominion and Shaker, Maker and Safe and Sound and your outstanding career. Thanks very much for joining me.
Yeah, thanks, Mick. It's nice because in this we never get a chance really to talk about what we've done in the past. So it's nice to someone to ask me to go over it again, because it's all there in the memory, but a lot of people don't want to hear it.
Well, I certainly do, and I know our listeners love when we do some reminiscing. And you're in the Inter Dominion record books and a lot of others, and well deserved.
Well, hopefully, if Mufasa happens to win an Inter Dominion, I'll become only the second trainer to have won the Pacers and Trotters.
Well, good luck with that, with that particular. Just looking forward, so that we're on record. Who do you think is going to win the Pacers one?
The Pacers? Well, I haven't had. I think young Ryan Sanderson's horse, Dangerous, has got a rough chance. So if he got the right one, I'm sure he could be right in it. And the Trotters, well, the local Locomotive, he just seems to be very hard to beat. But we'll be out there trying.
Good luck, John.
Thank you.